hope you're doing really well. Happy first of the month. It is August and it kind of feels like the official start to the last phase of summer around here, where days are just a little bit slower. There's a lot more relaxation, family time, and making. And I'm really excited about it. I really want to capture as many slow moments and creative moments as possible before September rolls around and the air shifts a little bit and things just start to get a little bit busier around here. I am going to be filming daily vlogs for the first 2 weeks of the month, which I did last year and I very much enjoyed. It's called Vlogust again. And I am just going to be capturing the little moments that bring me joy. And right now that includes a lot of knitting, some journaling, cooking, and just going out for little adventures, very small things. We don't have anything major planned this month. We are not going on a big vacation, but we are trying to enjoy local things a little bit more. And the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing that as much as possible while James is still here to join us before he heads off to university again. So I thought, what a great time to pick up my camera and film vlogs. It is going to be just simple, everyday stuff. And I was watching a video last night from one of my favorite artists, Erin Ware. And in her video, she mentioned this whole kind of movement towards a now page on websites as opposed to an about page. And I really found that interesting. I was looking into it a little bit, and I feel like I don't need a now page on my website, but my Instagram and my YouTube and my Patreon are kind of my now pages. And so that is the plan. It's just to share what is going on right now, what I'm reading, what I'm loving, what we're watching. And I'm really excited to just have a place to capture it. I did think that the first was Saturday or tomorrow. And so I was very surprised when I looked down at my phone yesterday and I noticed it was actually today. I don't feel completely prepared mentally, but I'm just gonna make it work because I really like thinking about this in a casual way. I didn't want to approach vlogging with super planned and organized things. I really just want to enjoy the moments. And so that is what I am doing. I have been really loving knitting right now, and I'm kind of at an in-between phase figuring out what is next because I finished my ranunculus sweater. I am so happy with it. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to. I will try it on maybe a little bit later. It is just perfect. It's definitely too warm and cozy to be wearing right now, but I'm pretty sure that this will get a lot of wear in the cooler months. It's the ranunculus sweater by Midori. I always forget the full name. Midori High Rose Knits, I believe. And I used Viola yarns, which unfortunately you can no longer get. It is the BFL 4-ply fingering weight, which I held double. And I have created a Ravelry page for this, so if you're interested in the needles or more about the yarn, you can find it over there. I don't really keep my Ravelry very up to date. I don't even check it very often. I happened to go in and fill in a project page for this sweater just because I feel like when I finish a project that I really love, I do want to have a record of it just for the yarn and the needles. And while I was doing that last week, I saw that I had a message in my inbox from December, which was awful. But I do try to put major projects on my Ravelry project pages. So absolutely love this sweater. Turned out so well. And now I am dreaming about the next one. I am thinking about casting on the Ooey Gooey by Andrea Mowry. I have my yarn set aside. But before I do that, I picked up my chunky Dahlia sweater instead, which I will share with you as well. I'm just kind of dipping in and out of different projects at the moment until I find one that I want to land on. I've been finding it a little bit difficult today to shift into vlogging mode. First of all, because I thought the first of the month was tomorrow, so I wasn't really prepared. And second of all, because it's Friday, and I usually have a wrap it up kind of day on Fridays where I spend my morning finishing things up in the studio, doing emails, any last shipping for the week. I like to tidy up the house for the weekend, and I also like to carve out Friday afternoons for creative time. Sometimes it's knitting, sometimes it is even just going out, running errands, or just going out to a coffee shop. But today I think I'm going to spend some time in my journals and notebooks because the last 2 weeks, while I've been battling the nosebleeds and the exhaustion, I've had a lot of downtime and I feel like I've lost the grasp on some of my really good routines and daily habits. And I thought it would be a good time to spend in my journals to kind of wrap up July, think about what worked for me, what didn't, and also just jot down some of the habits and routines that I really want to get back into place starting today and for the rest of the month. So I think that's how I'm going to spend a bit of my creative afternoon. I'm not really sure what else I'm going to be getting up to, but I feel like this is just going to be that initial day where I am getting used to vlogging again, easing back into the routines, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I know I have a lot of creative things that I'm excited to share with you for Vlogust. I just popped on my ranunculus sweater so I could show you what it looks like on. I am really happy with the overall fit and the fabric of this sweater. I ended up doing a bracelet length sleeve with the I-cord finish or binding. I've never done that before and I really enjoyed knitting it, but I also love the overall finish of it. I think it's super pretty, and I think that these like slightly balloon sleeves with this cuff is the highlight of this whole sweater for me. I absolutely love it. So I've just popped it on over my big t-shirt, but I think you can get an idea of the fit. It's just at my waist. I think I could have gone just a touch longer, but I was worried about yarn management and I was actually weighing the yarn after the first sleeve to make sure that I wouldn't run out for the second sleeve. In the end, I had enough to do probably another inch of ribbing, which I guess I could potentially add on if I wanted to, but I think it looks really pretty as it is. I think I'm going to get so much wear out of this sweater in the fall and winter months, and it is super cozy without being really bulky and kind of suffocating. Sometimes sweaters can be a little bit too warm for me or too scratchy. This is perfection. I am so happy with it, and I was reminded of why so many people make this over and over again. I knew that I enjoyed it the first time, but knitting it again this second time just reminded me of how quick of a knit it is, how enjoyable it is, and what a great final garment it gives you. So I already have plans to make a third one. I'm not quite sure when, because I've got my chunky dahlia already on the needles that I'm working on, and I want to start the ooey gooey at some point, and the turtle dove cardigan. And I think there's another couple. The porcelain sweater is another one. I have so many sweaters in my queue right now with all the yarn, and I need to get knitting. My studio is in a bit of a state at the moment. I have so many things going on in here right now. These garden party bags, I've been working on them all week. I just need to finish closing them up, press them all, and pack them for Christina, the cozy knitter. She is going to be posting garden party kits in her shop in the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. I am also dealing with a little bit of a yarn mess just outside of the door here, because I am currently in the middle of a destash. I started with some stationery items a little while ago. I am currently in the yarn phase, and I'm hoping to get to bags in the next couple of weeks. And I've been a little slower at getting this going because I have been dealing on and off with nosebleeds for the last couple of weeks, and it has really slowed me down. And I am doing a bit of a pre-destash on my Patreon account first, which just simplifies things a little bit for me. Eventually, I'll move all of the listings or whatever's left over to my Instagram destash account, and I'll let you guys know when that happens. But if you are interested in any of my yarn destash items, you can go check them out on my Patreon. You do not have to be a paying member. You can just go over there. I'm not sure if you just have to sign up to be a free member or if you can just see the post, but the post is open for everyone. So I have quite a bit of yarn left over there, and it's just a bit of a mess until I get everything sorted. But this current mess on the top of my table is probably the most enjoyable one. It's a very happy mess. I started my Hobonichi Cousin Avec on July 1st because that is when the second book of the year begins, and I got off to a really good start. But a couple of weeks into the month, when I was hit with that whole nosebleed phase, it really wiped me out, and I didn't do anything on my daily pages for more than a week, maybe close to 2 weeks. And it's a little bit of a bummer because I was off to a very good start, and I don't particularly love going back and filling in pages after the fact. So I just spent a little bit of time this morning with some printouts. I think someone actually asked me what I do for the images that I print out. I basically make mood boards every once in a while. I post them on Patreon. Sometimes they are like monthly inspiration boards, and most of the images come from Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I love finding new images or pulling up old ones. And I just get my mood boards printed in color at Staples. I also have collage sheets from Erin Ware on Patreon, which are, I think these ones here are from Erin Ware. And I also have quite a few from Courtney Diaz, who is another favorite artist of mine. I absolutely adore her Patreon as well. And so I just have a collection here of images that I might want to use at some point. I've got little bits and pieces that have come in packages in the mail or are from magazines and I've ripped them out and kept them in here, some scrapbooking papers. And I just spent a little bit of time this morning doing a few setup things. So I didn't want to go back and document everything that went on all of these days. Sometimes I just find that really, it kind of defeats the purpose for me and it puts me off of journaling. And so I'm trying not to force anything, but I had some inks I wanted to swatch. I decided to do a little gratitude page with this stamp that I've had for many, many years. It's no longer available. It was from Elise Cripe. I've just put in a few collage sheets. I had done a little bit here, so I didn't do much on those pages. I did a bit of painting last weekend, and so I put some paint chips here. And I've just kind of set them up to fill in with some notes. I don't think I'm necessarily going to do much journaling, but I might want to jot down a couple of things. I am going to go through my camera roll and see if there are any major things that I want to capture and make sure end up in this journal, but I'm kind of enjoying getting back into it. And I've been really inspired by so many people online with their journals and notebooks lately. And it's just something I find I'm really drawn towards, especially at this time of year. I don't know what it is about late summer or just summer in general. I think I've been really trying to capture this season as like a slow summer. I've seen a few people online mention that. A lot of people are also kind of revisiting the 90s, just getting off their phones, watching older movies. A lot of people even have pulled out their old DVD collection. There's just something so nostalgic about that time in the 90s where life was a little bit slower, but there was still so much to enjoy. And I'm trying to do that this summer. The last 2 weeks actually forced me to slow down, but I wasn't feeling a lot of energy. And so now I feel like it's starting to return and I can get back to some of these things that I love. Also, little side note, I got some fabric in the mail this week, and I also purchased this Paper Theory pattern for pajamas. They're called the Agnes PJs. I am a huge lover of pajamas. My drawers are overflowing. I've had to stop myself from buying new ones. I just adore them. And I saw this pattern when I was picking out some fabrics for some project bags, and I thought, why not get the pattern and maybe try making some myself. I picked up some canvas in these two beautiful prints to make some large project bags. Not sure when that's going to happen. I have a lot on my list to work on in the studio, but I'm absolutely in love with these strawberries on this burgundy background and also this geometric. They kind of remind me of some fabrics I previously used for project bags, but it looks like they've been revisited. And I don't know, are these are, okay, this is from Coca Shop. It's Coca Japan. And then this is a Kimberly Kite fabric. Let's see here. From Ruby Star Society. So I'm really excited about those. I've been really enjoying getting back into my making again. I've been loving it so much more the last few months, and I feel like I really want to end the summer just making as many things as I can, slowing down as much as possible, and enjoying each and every moment. I'm not sure why I found this the cutest thing, when I woke up this morning. Glenn and James went to the dollar store last night, and James picked out chocolate bars for each of us. And when I came down this morning, I saw that he had placed them on each of our placemats. So Glenn's choice is a Big Turk, which I find disgusting, but that is such a Glenn chocolate bar. James chose Twix, which I also love. Camden had Reese peanut butter cups, but he discovered them late last night and ate his. And mine is a Caramilk, which is one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. So that is going to be a little treat for later. I'm just trying to get the house a little bit tidied up for the weekend. We have a few things that we will be bringing up to James's new place for university, probably this weekend. This stuff has been sitting here for months, but I think we're finally ready to go and just bring most of what we have except for his clothing and like personal items, but we're pretty much ready to move him in, set up his bed. We're looking for a desk, so we've got a few loose ends to tie, but we are very, very close. And I think once I finish cleaning up, I'm going to sit down and have a little look at this cookbook. I picked up a couple of cookbooks from the Book Outlet website. I think it's bookoutlet.ca. And I have a few of these cookbooks from the, let's see, Cider Mill Press publisher. It's the Ultimate Cookbook series. I have Cast Iron Skillet. I think I have desserts and pizza. I love them. They kind of remind me of like those encyclopedia recipe books that my mom used to have when I was a kid. They were alphabetical and not exactly like this, but they give me the same feeling. And I've been in a little bit of a dinner slump, or maybe not a slump, because I've been enjoying keeping things really simple this summer, but I'm kind of on the hunt for some new dinner ideas to put into rotation. And so I found this one on the Book Outlet website, and it looks really good. It's family dinners. It's massive. And it's a really great resource for tons and tons of dinners. So I'm kind of excited to sit down and maybe put some sticky notes in here, find a few new things to try out to make dinners a little bit more interesting, but also kind of easy for the rest of the summer. I'm using my outdoor office today. It's quite beautiful out, especially in the shade. I brought my carry-all bag with my iPad, a couple of journals. I brought this tin out because I've been collecting some of the newer pens and markers that I've accumulated in the last few months, and I just like having them all in one spot, so I'm just using what I have from in here. I've got my knitting just in case. I ended up frogging about an inch or so of my sock just to fix the little dropped stitch that I had. I know there were so many other options I could have done, but I just had the inclination to rip it back today and just keep it simple. So that's what I did. I picked up my stitches, no problem. So I'm going to try to catch up on that again. And I've brought myself some lunch out. I had some leftover chicken cutlets. So I've made myself an enormous sandwich with some arugula and some hummus, a few chips, and to me, this is like heaven. I've had a really nice creative afternoon outside. It is so peaceful out here. I watched a couple of YouTube videos And I caught up on some articles on Substack. I haven't really been checking that app this week, but I really enjoy it. And so I've got quite a few that I'd like to continue reading and making some notes on. I absolutely love Substack. I feel like it's replaced what blogs were to me in the early 2000s. It just gives me the same feeling, and it's just the perfect type of media to consume because I think it makes me think, and I just really enjoy it. So I was jotting down some of my favorite Substacks in here, and I just went through the last 2 weeks, and I don't think I actually finished any one page, but I added little bits to a few of them, including a couple of little postcards or little note cards that I want to add. I put a few notes in here about adding more color into my home. And I feel like I'm just kind of processing a lot of things that have been on my mind for a few weeks, but I haven't had the mental energy to kind of figure them all out. And that's what I'm using these pages for. I started to read this incredible article on Substack. It's How to Get Smart Again, Building a Media Syllabus by Postcards by Elle. It's one of my favorite creators there. And I've just been adding little notes here and there, just little things, maybe things I want to read in the future, little reminders to take more photos, what I've been watching and dreaming about. And I'm just going to slowly add little bits and pieces to these pages as I feel like it. But at least now I feel like I can get back on track and start off August on a fresh note. So I think I'm going to pack everything up, go inside because it's getting close to dinner time. Glenn has just gotten home for the weekend, and I think he actually has an extended weekend because we have a long weekend here in Canada next week, but he's taken a couple of extra days off, and so we are going to come up with a plan to move James's bed and desk into his new place and try to get him all settled. I think it's going to be a really nice weekend, and we're going to get things done, but we're also going to try and spend a lot of time together as a family. So I think I'm just going to wrap up now while I'm a little bit ahead, try and get this edited and uploaded and get into a new routine for vlogging daily. I hope you guys are enjoying your summer and you are going to join me this August for some slow days filled with making and creativity.